Wednesday, December 23rd, 2020, and it is just the night before Christmas, and I'm broadcasting live on Theta Network as well, and we are going to cover Cardano today. And as you can see here, the nice little cover photo. This has been a project that I've been working on for a few days now. Cardano is a huge topic to cover, and I didn't really honestly want to cover it just because I thought it would make for such a huge video, and there's so much stuff to talk about, and I didn't really feel like I had a really great grasp on Cardano. But I've just been reading and trying to figure it out. So I will approach Cardano with the best of my ability, and I hope you guys will have some patience with me. I'm not going to go point by point like Guy from Coin Bureau does, and I'm not going to do a deep investigative analysis like Chico Crypto does, and I'm not going to be a teacher like so many of these other rock star YouTubers. I'm just going to be myself, and I hope that's all right. Let's see here. Let me get myself up on here. Here I am. Okay, and let me get rid of this text for now. Ta-da! All right. Okay, so Cardano, like I said, has a huge loyal following, and it's been in development for quite some time now. It's been making strides, and it's been getting a lot of recent press and media and a lot of attention lately, and it's been called by many the Ethereum killer, and so have other projects like DOT as well, and several other blockchains. Previously, Tezos, I believe, and some others, EOS, were considered the Ethereum killers. Nothing ever has come to fruition with that, and Ethereum has now gone on to Ethereum 2.0. So it's moved on, and it seems to be exploding, and a lot of hope and possibilities coming in the world for Ethereum. But then there's this monster looming in the corner, Cardano, that's been growing and taking more and more of the stage that Ethereum has previously dominated, and will continue to dominate. I believe there's room for everybody, all these blockchains that are going to be the smart contract platforms in the future. When mainstream and the mass populace get into using all these smart contract platforms and DeFi and using cryptocurrency, and when all this replaces fiat, and hopefully when it does, there will be plenty of room for all these different type of platforms to have plenty of elbow room. Okay, so yeah, anyway, we'll get started here in a second. I got my LaCroix here. This is my Friday night, so I don't have to work for the next 4 days, so expect a lot of good work. It's going to be Christmas as well. Got home from work, kicked off my shoes, put the kids to bed, and I'm ready to go. So here we go. Let's see here. Let's open up the Brave browser. Let me get rid of this thing here. Where did I put this? Let's see. Okay. Cardano, making the world work better for all is their motto. I also need to pull up. I did actually kind of prepare for this. So I do have an outline I kind of wanted to follow. I guess we'll go into the history a little bit. Cardano was built and by, well, not solely built, but it's steered and run by Charles Hoskinson. And the IOHK is the umbrella company for all this, and the Cardano platform. Cardano has many components within it, but Cardano is the overall platform, and just like Ethereum is the overall platform, and ETH is the gas and the token used for it, and Cardano has the ADA token, the ADA token. So I guess we'll start with some of the history. Charles Hoskinson was originally one of the 8 people of the Ethereum Foundation, and he was originally the CEO, I guess, by title of Ethereum. And they all met in a house in Zug, Switzerland. A great resource to learn to understand Ethereum and learn some of the history is this book right here, The Infinite Machine by Camilo Russo. Really good book, told in a prosaic storytelling type of fashion, and it really makes cyber hacking and computer nerd type of stuff seem really adventurous and appealing to the average novice who does not know anything about this. And it helped me to understand Ethereum as a whole, which led to me being able to understand a lot of these concepts in Cardano. Because previously to reading this, I would look at the Cardano website and I would immediately get lost. So I definitely recommend this. But Charles Hoskinson was one of the original 8 in the Ethereum Foundation. Of course, Vitalik Buterin wrote the white paper for Ethereum and has been the visionary behind all this. But as far as organizing everything, Charles Hoskinson really got that off the floor. There ended up being a lot of political disagreements, and this book covers all that, and it goes through it in detail. But she does say that Charles Hoskinson is a mathematician, and he has always been interested in math and how that works in computers, and he's also been a libertarian. And he was going to go to do a PhD at the University of Colorado at Boulder, but after 3 years he discovered that his idea of solving some important problems that would inscribe him in the holy grail of math for all eternity wasn't compatible with a sustainable career as a professional mathematician. Charles was thinking about increasingly complex problems without actually having any productive output, that is, published articles in peer-reviewed academic journals. He could switch to easier and less interesting problems that would allow him to be more productive and get tenure, or he could do something else in life. And this was in 2012, and he decided to take a break and figure out what he really wanted to do. And that's when he went and joined the Libertarian Party and did some work for Ron Paul, a lot of campaigning type of stuff for doing the audit the Fed. And that's when he discovered Bitcoin and the whole principles of Bitcoin and the whole libertarian aspect of it. Bitcoin has a huge foundation in libertarian ideals. I would consider myself kind of a libertarian if I knew more about it, but I do like the idea of it. I just haven't read all these authors that a lot of libertarians throw around, so I don't know enough about it to really call myself one, but I agree with everything I've read so far. Anyway, he got involved with doing some writing for the Bitcoin Alliance of Canada and wrote articles for them, and then through that ended up reading Vitalik Buterin's white paper for Ethereum, and then got involved in that project, and then somehow ended up in a house in Miami where they all got together and started the original Ethereum Foundation, and then they moved to Zug, Switzerland, and then had a house where they completely developed. And Charles Hoskinson is very business-minded. He's very much into partnerships. He's very much into long-term planning, writing academic papers, crossing the T's, dotting the I's, and making sure everything's perfect. Here's kind of an example of his personality versus the rest of the developers in the group, and I think this paragraph really sums it up. It says, their CEO, Charles Hoskinson, loved to congregate everyone in front of the whiteboard. Then he would proceed to write out complicated math problems and charts just for the sake of it, or at least that's what it seemed like to Matthias. He's one of the other guys. One time, Charles spent the day developing a model that would reinvest funds that Ethereum would earn. At this point, it hadn't been decided whether Ethereum would be a nonprofit foundation, and Charles was thinking about how the for-profit entity would work. So Charles Hoskinson had it in his mind how he wanted Ethereum to work and grow and be the next $1 trillion blockchain corporation in a way. And the guys in Ethereum weren't really behind that. So all this political tension built up, and eventually Charles Hoskinson got voted out and was kind of floating around for a little bit, and then decided on building his own not version of Ethereum, because it's not. Cardano and Ethereum are very different, but create his own plan of creating his own blockchain, smart contract platform, and new decentralized way of doing money. So I guess Ethereum got the gears turning for him, and then he moved on. And anyway, being a mathematician, the ADA token, which is the token for Cardano, is named after Ada Lovelace. And Ada Lovelace is a 19th century mathematician, and she's recognized as the first computer programmer and the daughter of poet Lord Byron. I do have a photo of her here somewhere. Let me see here. Yes. Let me bring her up to the top. Ta-da! That's her. 1850s, around there. That's when she was alive. And yes, there was some semblance of a computer back then. Charles Babbage he invented the analytical engine, which is basically just a whole mess of cylinders and gears and pulleys and ticker tape and all that type of stuff. And he used it to crunch numbers. So she took the analytical engine and created an algorithm for it. And she's believed by some to be the first to recognize that machine had applications beyond pure calculation, and to have published the first algorithm intended to be carried out by such a calculation type of machine. And she's often regarded as the first to recognize the full potential of computers as one of the first computer programmers. I find it really cool that one of the first computer programmers was female. So that's a huge step for women right there. Somebody to look up to, somebody I'm definitely going to teach my daughters about. Ada Lovelace in her notes on Babbage's paper in note G. So Babbage wrote a paper about this analytical engine, and before it was called the difference engine. So it just crunched math problems. But let's see, I have note G here, and I'll pull that to the front. Here's note G, what it looked like, and this is Ada. She wrote more pages about Charles Babbage's paper than there was in the actual paper itself. So Ada Lovelace's paper, notes about Babbage's paper, became more famous than Babbage's paper. I think that's pretty significant. And she in her note on Babbage's paper in note G, and this happens to be note G, she made an algorithm that would compute Bernoulli's numbers. Now, I don't know much about Bernoulli's numbers and mathematics in general. I just know that they're very significant in a lot of the inventions that have been developed, and Bernoulli's numbers are a large part of that. Ada also saw something in Babbage that in some sense failed to see. In Babbage's world, his engines were bound by numbers. What Lovelace saw was that numbers could represent entities other than quantity. So once you had a machine for manipulating numbers, if those numbers represent other things like letters, musical notes, symbols, then the machine could manipulate the symbols of which number was one instance of that symbol, according to rules. If this is a fundamental transition from a machine, which is a number cruncher, to a machine for manipulating symbols according to the rules. That is the fundamental transition from calculation to computation, general purpose computation. And and looking back at it, it presents the high ground of modern computing. So we're looking and sifting history for that transition. Then that transition was made explicitly by Ada in that paper in 1843. I said 1850s earlier. So this note G came about in 1843, and it basically made the transition from a calculator to a computer, solving for actual, not just equations, but symbols representing numbers. And I think that's what Charles Hoskinson is trying to capture with Cardano, is it's not necessarily just a simple blockchain. He's trying to empower and create a whole new organism in a way through this Cardano platform. And like Ethereum is the world computer, he's trying to create the world computer plus bank plus everything. He's definitely a dreamer. He's definitely has a lot of high fetched ideals. His head is in the clouds, and he's an academic. I mean, straight up, there's no getting around it. What Charles Hoskinson does not do is just throw something out there and hope it works. He's a meticulous planner. So that could be kind of the polar opposite in a way of somebody like Andre Cronje, right? For instance, who made the Yearn Finance and kind of threw the code out there in the public and saw how it would work and then let the development happen after it's live. This is the opposite approach that Charles Hoskinson is taking with Cardano. And he wants to do thorough research and papers back and forth, and in a way that has kind of met a lot of criticism by the critics, because on the roadmap, I'll show you that in a second, but on one stage of the roadmap, it took 5 years to develop, and people were wondering if it was ever going to come out, if it was just a bunch of hot air, or what the deal was. So anyway, so we will get to this roadmap now. Let's go back to the website. Let me find the roadmap here. So here's the little brand animation video. Oh wait, hold on. Let me get rid of this. Note G, and then we'll get rid of ADA. So let's go to the roadmap here. First of all, before we get to the roadmap, the purpose. Here's what his purpose is, and this is what I mean about him being a mathematician, but seeing kind of a larger worldview through the eyes of Ada Lovelace. The purpose, the platform built for a sustainable future to help people work better together, trust one another, and build global solutions to global problems. He's real poetic, and Cardano's a fork in the road. It takes us from where we've been to where we've been destined to go. A global society that is secure, transparent, and fair, in which serves the many as well as the few. Like the technological revolutions that have come before, it offers a new template for how we work, interact, and create as individuals, businesses, and societies. To people who are real hot to trot about this new world order and the World Economic Forum and all this stuff going on, this can kind of sound like ominous language here, and globalist type of language, and technocracy type of language, and I agree, but if done right, I think a lot of this stuff could provide a lot of freedom for people that don't have it. Cardano began with a vision of a world without intermediaries, a world which is not controlled by an accountable few, but the empowered many. In this world, individuals have control over their data and how they interact and transact. Businesses have the opportunity to grow independent of monopolistic and bureaucratic power structures. Societies are able to pursue true democracy, self-governing, fair, and accountable. It is a world made possible by Cardano. This sounds amazing. It's just, and all these idealistic statements. I hate to be a cynic in life, but there's always got to be somebody pulling the strings and in control of some kind of centralized lever. And with all this blockchain technology becoming decentralized, I'm hoping that it will distribute out to everybody and people can be empowered without some kind of centralized intermediaries, but time will tell. I love what they're saying. It's just I want to be realistic too. So let's see here. There's the Cardano Foundation. There's Input, Output, and IOHK. It's the company that's doing all the actual technology and coding. And then there's Emergo. Emergo's is a sister company, and they've built the wallets, and they're also handling the oracles. And oracles are how you get data from off-chain to on-chain. And we'll go into that in a little while. So anyway, here's the Cardano roadmap. It's divided into 5 eras, and they're all named after mathematicians. There's Byron, which is already passed, and that was basically the entire foundation that was established. They addressed the strategic challenges facing all blockchain networks: scalability, interoperability, and sustainability. They created the wallets. The Daedalus wallet and the Yoroi wallet came from the Byron era. And I will show you those 2 wallets here in a little bit. So there's the Daedalus wallet, which is a complete official desktop wallet, and it's pretty heavy duty, and that's where all the staking pools, where you delegate, and we'll go into that, and all that's done from there. And then there's the Yoroi wallet. It's a lightweight browser wallet used for quick transactions and day-to-day use. Okay, so all that is complete, and then we've just finished with the Shelley era. I think we finished. Yeah. I believe we're in the Gauguin era now, but I'll get to that in a second. So the Shelley era, it took 5 years to get through. So this is the time when I mentioned that people were getting impatient and criticizing Cardano as never going to be do anything and just talk and writing papers about papers, writing papers about going to conventions, writing papers about people and projects that are gonna be going to conventions and everything like that. So I saw several videos that made long critiques about that type of stuff. However, it does look like this era has been completed. The era of Shelley is a period of growth and development for the network. Unlike the Byron era, which began at a single point in time when the mainnet was launched, the transition to Shelley is designed to achieve a smooth, low-risk transition without service interruption. Let's see here. So what the Shelley era has done, it basically created the stake pools. And stake pools, so Cardano is a proof of stake network as opposed to proof of work. Proof of work is where you have computers with lots of power, and they mine and they solve the algorithms, and they get the block reward when they solve the block, they get the reward. And the block basically marks transactions. And it's the most broad, simple way to put it. And it requires a lot of computing power to solve these equations in order to log these transactions. And that's what creates blockchains. Proof of stake, on the other hand, you have a node, and everybody runs the nodes, and it creates it. The more nodes there are, the more decentralized the network is, and people stake some of their tokens onto this node, and the node validates transactions, and then the more transactions that are validated, then blocks are created, and then the people running the node and receive rewards, and those rewards are distributed to the stakers, the people that help secure the nodes. So the more stakers there are and the more nodes there are, the more secure the network. I guess that's the most possibly simplistic way I could probably put it in my words. There's probably a lot of other people that can explain it a lot better, but yeah, that's how I'm going to explain it. So Shelley will also see the introduction of the delegation and incentive scheme, a reward system to drive stake pools and community adoption. As proof of stake network, users stake their ADA, those are the tokens, to participate in the network. Painstakingly designed using game theory and the latest research into proof of stake networks, the delegation and incentive scheme will allow and encourage users to delegate their stake to stake pools, always on, community run network nodes, and be rewarded for honest participation in the network. So this is huge. This is part of the dataless wallet, and I'll show you that here in a little bit. But I have ADA staked, and I'm receiving rewards in a stake pool, and we'll get into that in a second. Okay, so anyway, I want to go on the roadmap. There's the Goguen era. This is the introduction of smart contracts being built on top of the blockchain, and smart contracts allow for all types of amazing applications for payment conditions, timeouts, escrows, for decentralized finance. The world is the oyster, so there's so many possibilities of different types of smart contracts. Think for instance, you have I've seen this illustration quite a bit. You have a car and you want to rent it out to somebody, and that amount paid and then the time and the distance and everything else is based upon outside data that comes in through an oracle and is set by parameters of a smart contract that determines how much, how long, and how far that car can go. And all that's done automatically by the smart contract on the blockchain and secured in the blockchain, and the money is distributed automatically. The card turns on and off automatically according to that smart contract. So no, the owner of the card does not have to do anything once those parameters are set and the smart contract is engaged. So that's just one example. There's tons of other examples. Decentralized finance is another huge example of a smart contract. Anytime you lock your money into a decentralized finance protocol, you can earn interest and based upon time and amount of money, etc., and all types of other parameters. And then when you unlock your money from that, then that smart contract will trigger in other ways, and you'll receive your money back plus interest or not, plus penalties. But there's just a world of things you can do with this. And it doesn't require a credit system. It doesn't require bank approval. It doesn't require any type of human intervention whatsoever. It eliminates the bank as a complete middleman. And this is where freedom comes into play for what we were talking about, no intermediary. It allows third world people and people without a credit score to be able to participate in finance applications and opportunities that previously were absolutely unavailable to even somebody like me. I'm just an average dude. I'm not an accredited investor, but with decentralized finance, I am an accredited investor if I want to be. So, if I have the money, or if I, have the desire and the motivation to learn about something, I can do it. It doesn't require the approval and the signature of some credit system or some snooty banker to tell me what I can and can't do with my money. So anyway, and It's real easy to create these smart contracts, and we'll go into it here in a little bit with the Marlowe language and the Marlowe playground. It's a drag and drop graphical user interface, a GUI interface, in order to be able to create smart contracts. So yeah, here's Basho. This is the next phase. Right now we're on Goguen. And because Shelley took 5 years, people kind of criticized it, and people thought, oh no, another era, it's going to take another 5 years. Actually, Goguen is supposed to, according to plan, just to only take a few months here. So it shouldn't be too long, and then we'll be into Basho. And Basho is just basically scaling. And you know what scaling is? It's taking something small, like you have somebody running a bakery in Fredericksburg, Texas, which is a small little town. And then somebody from New York City comes to visit that bakery, and they're like, oh my God, we want to supply those pastries to the entire city of New York. Well, how's that little bakery going to do that? Well, they got to scale up. And so this is whenever mass adoption comes into cryptocurrency, and once people learn how to do these smart contracts, and businesses learn what's going on, and all this obscure jig is up, and the public learns about what Cardano can do for them and their business and their freedom and their finances and everything else, then we got to scale up. Ethereum has had a problem scaling up, and that was why Ethereum has had to go to Ethereum 2.0 from a proof of work network to a proof of stake network. And there's been all these sharding and side chains and these roll-ups and all these other things and these tools that have been developed and built in order to allow Ethereum to be able to scale up to this mass usage. And what happened in July is decentralized finance was a craze, and everybody just was, oh my God, we're allowed to do this now with our money, and we can do this with an automatic protocol. And then the Ethereum network got completely clogged up. Gas prices were really high, and then there were a lot of vulnerabilities of hackers and exploits and scams and all the rug pulls and all types of stuff. And a lot of people lost some money in all the DeFi issues that were going on, because Ethereum was not quite able to scale up to the demand that was needed. And so gas prices were through the roof. Well, Cardano, like I said, takes a long time to scale out. Charles Hoskinson is a cross your T, dot your I type of guy. He wants to make sure that all the diagrams and everything are done correctly, and that the airplane is in full working order before going into the air. So he's planned this portion out of it to scale correctly in this Basho era. And then we have the governance era, the Voltaire era for governance. And here is where everything is going to be completely decentralized, where the bird will be flying from the nest. All the stake pools, 100% of Cardano and Cardano transactions and blocks will be done on the stake pools, and completely decentralized and delegated to the whole public. Nothing will be owned by the Cardano network, and nothing or by IOHK, and it will be completely no longer under IOHK's management. Cardano's future will be in the hands of the community. And so what will need to take place then are governance tokens, in order for people to be proposals to be voted on by stakeholders, and leveraging the already existing staking and delegation process. So here it says, for Cardano network to become truly decentralized, it will require not only the distributed infrastructure introduced during the Shelley era, but also the capacity to be maintained and improved over time in a decentralized way. To that end, the Voltaire era will add the ability for the network participants to present Cardano improvement proposals that can be voted on. There's going to be, I believe, some kind of stable coin developed, and that's beyond the scope of this video. But if you want to dig in deeper, there's so many resources out there for Cardano. Please do dig in. So let me see here. I do want to show you a couple of the wallets. Oh, well, before that, real quick, I want to talk a little bit about the language structure. Cardano is a UTXO model, and Bitcoin is UTXO. That means unspent transaction output. And how that works is versus a credit card. Here's a credit card. Ethereum is based on an account model in which somebody has an account balance, and they keep track of the balance as the global state. and the balance of the account is checked to make sure it is larger to or equal to the spending of the transaction amount. And this is how it works in Ethereum. Alice gains 5 ethers through mining. It's recorded in the system that Alice has 5 ethers. Alice wants to give Bob 1 ether, so the system will first deduct 1 ether from Alice's account. So now Alice has 4 ethers. Okay, super simple. An unspent transaction output, for instance, is I have, well, I thought I had, oh my gosh, oh, here it is. I have a $20 bill, ta-da, of worthless fiat currency. So UTXO is, you have this $20 bill, you want to give somebody, let's say $15, right? Or $16, okay. So I give this $20 bill to somebody, they give me back 4. That's how UTXO works. And so it's anonymous, it's a bit more secure for that, and that's the difference. So Ethereum, Cardano in a way will be more secure and more easily scalable because it is based on the UTXO model. Ethereum, on the other hand, the account balance model provides a simplicity and efficiency. So the account balance model is super simple. You don't have to deal with change back and forth in a way. I mean, that's obviously broad strokes and simplifying it, and it's also efficient. So the pros and cons to both, just like I believe there are pros and cons to Ethereum. So a pure Cardano head would disagree, saying that Cardano is absolutely superior in every way, but I believe it's kind of like a VHS versus a beta type of argument. I grew up in the 80s as a child, so I remember that. I didn't know what the adults were talking about, but I heard VHS and beta quite a bit. Anyway, let's go into the wallets here. So there is the Yoroi wallet, and Emergo is the sister company here. And they're the ones that provide the oracles, bringing off-chain data to on-chain to the Cardano platform through oracle pools. This video does not go anywhere near the scope of trying to explain that, so this is something you can do. Emergo.io, they have their own blockchain and their own token and everything, and so they're a sister company, and definitely something to worth look into. And they talk about the whole UTXO model on their website as well. So further research for you. I'm not here to do your research for you. I'm here to point you to places where you can do more research. And if you have questions, just ask me, DM me. I might not be able to answer it, but I can find somebody who can. I mean, I'm a sales manager in real life. I'm the king of being able to point people places to go, but not necessarily give you the detailed information. Anyway, so that they developed this Yoroi wallet. I downloaded this Yoroi wallet. It's right here, the little icon in my top right next to my MetaMask wallet. So here's my Yoroi wallet for Cardano, and is an easy install, and I can store my ADA here. I don't have anything in here because I haven't put anything here, but you can send and receive. Oh wow, I guess you can delegate from this wallet here. You can do this also by downloading the actual wallet here. So here's the list of the stake pools. And so you can delegate your ADA to any of these stake pools here, and you will receive rewards when that stake pool finds a block during a certain epoch. And I believe an epoch is somewhere around like 5 days or something. Let me show you the Daedalus wallet. Let's see here. Not that one. Maybe it's this one. Yeah, let me pull it up. Yeah, and okay, so let me put this one out of the way here here it is. Okay, so let me get this out of the way, Okay, here's the Daedalus wallet. It's a standalone wallet on your computer, so in a way, I guess that is more secure. I think this acts as a node too. But not like a staking node. the whole blockchain is downloaded. So the blockchain is downloaded here to your computer, and I'm not going to show you my balance or anything or my rewards because that's my own personal business. But there's all these stake pools here you can choose from. Hold on, let me get this up here. So, and I mean, there's just tons of them. But in a way, okay, so it goes down here. The red ones, they need people to stake in them. And the more people that stake in them, the more rewards you get up until a point. And this is where the beauty of it and the whole game theory and the idea, it's kind of a lever in order to keep the decentralized nature of the whole Cardano platform alive. There has to be you can't have too many people in one staking pool, because what that does, it creates a central point of failure. It creates a vulnerability and a weakness for a hacker to come in and say, oh, well, there's a whole lot of weight right over here. I'm just going to find a way to work my way into that and compromise the security of that point where all these people are, and then it will throw the whole network off and provide some vulnerability in there. I guess that's the most simple way that I can think to put it. So you get to a saturation point in which the rewards start to decrease after too many people join a stake pool. So let's look at this pool here. This pool here is saturated 99.89%. Saturation measures the stake in the pool and indicates the point at which rewards stop increasing with increases in stake. This capping mechanism encourages decentralization by discouraging users from delegating to oversaturated stake pools. So if you find that your stake pool is getting oversaturated, I believe it's like somewhere around, I'm not sure, maybe it's around 60 something percent, but you'll have to look that up. I have mine staked to the Texan stakes pool. This is obviously not saturated at all. It's at 2.36%, so it has a lot of room to grow. So if you want to, go to Texan Stakes and Texan Steaks. A steak is my favorite food, and I'm Texan. Hey, all right. Anyway, a buddy of mine, he runs the Austin Huns rugby team here. It's kind of a amateur fun rugby league here in Austin, and some of those guys run this stake pool. It's a great pool to put your Cardano in, and I've earned some decent interest on it so far. So yeah, look into it. Go to, let me see here. Let me get rid of this image of the wallet. The wallet's super easy to implement. So let me see here. Where did it go? Oh, not that one. Here we are. And there we go. Okay. So go back to this Eureka wallet, and then we'll go to the Texan Stakes pool here. This is their website. Every staking pool has their own website. There will be people begging you to put your money in their staking pool. So, I would say choose wisely, because you want to make sure that the people running the node are responsible, will have the node up running all the time, and that they will know how to secure it well. I mean, I'd say that most of the people participating in Cardano, they want their staking pool to run well. They want to get the most rewards that they can possibly get out of it, and in turn, you will get the most rewards as well. So here they teach you how to download the wallet. They show you how to download the Daedalus wallet. Here you have to search in the Daedalus wallet or the Eureka wallet for the pool, and here's the pool ticker, and here's where you can go into it. And it just gives you how to stake. So yeah, I would recommend going to this pool because it's not anywhere near saturation, so it looks like a great place to do that. Anyway, as far as coding, for developers wanting to develop smart contracts on top of the Cardano platform, you can do so really easily, whether or not you're a huge enterprise business or you're just a photographer or a hairstylist wanting to do a down payment and deposit for a large photography project or for a wedding, and you need to do hair for all the ladies in the wedding party. You can do this and create a smart contract in which the person puts down the deposit, and that deposit is set on a timer and set to release upon approval or upon a certain time length. And that's kind of what a smart contract can do for an individual. For large businesses, obviously, smart contracts can do a lot of other different type of stuff. But you can create those yourself, and you don't really have to be a programmer. Udemy has a couple free courses. So go to udemy.com, and there's so Cardano is built with a Haskell type of language, and Haskell is a functional programming language. And I'm not anywhere near a developer. I do know a little bit of Java and JavaScript, and I know a tiny bit of Python and some PHP, but I'm definitely not a coder by any means. I created a blog engine back in 2003 using PHP, SQL, and some JavaScript and stuff like that, and some HTML and CSS. But that was a long time ago. Things have changed a whole lot since then, and since then I've kind of learned a little bit of Python and some Solidity. I took a Solidity course on Udemy, but Udemy provides for free this Marlowe programming language and Plutus. So Plutus is kind of the Haskell-based functional programming language for Cardano, and it's how smart contracts can be made and designed and built and programmed. And you can build your own dApps, decentralized applications, or your own DeFi applications, or anything like that you want to build on top of the Cardano platform. So think of it in a way like you have Microsoft Windows, and then you have Adobe Photoshop. You want to build Photoshop, and you need a platform to build it on. Well, you build it on top of Windows. In a way, Cardano is the platform, and you can build your dApps on top of the Cardano platform. For instance, your decentralized finance application. For Ethereum, there's Solidity programming language, and people use the Solidity language to create applications and smart contracts. There's Ethereum, and then, for instance, this Aave, a decentralized finance platform, is built on top of Ethereum. So this is just an example. Right now, Cardano doesn't really have any applications or other projects built on it yet that I know of, but that's what they're trying to push with this whole Goguen rollout and teaching people and making it super easy to build smart contracts. Plutus is definitely a programming language, so you will have to be a coder and a developer to learn and use Plutus. But Marlowe is kind of a step higher than Plutus, and it's super simple. I will show you here Marlowe. This is what Marlowe looks like. Look, seriously, you can drag and drop pieces of smart contracts together. I mean, you can't get any more simple than this. The only other example that I can think in blockchain technology that comes anywhere close to this is Unibright's new framework that's used for enterprise, and basically it's decentralized finance for enterprise businesses. So it'll be interesting to see how Cardano and Unibright may clash with something like this, but I see this as being more user-friendly towards the individual, where Unibright is trying to focus more on large, huge enterprises like Microsoft and Coca-Cola and stuff like that. And Cardano is trying to be a little more user-friendly for basically anybody, the individual to use, the retail type of person. So it's interesting. So yeah, you can easily learn. This Marlowe course, I learned it in one day. I still got to do this last part, but they're not long. But I don't even think I would really even have to take that last part. I pretty much understand it. So it's super simple. A lot of people say, what is the purpose of Cardano? Critics to say, why we don't need Cardano. We have Ethereum, we have DOT, we have Polkadot, we have a lot of other more advanced, amazing platforms that we can build on top of. Well, Cardano is easy, it's approachable, it's accessible, and I think that's what they're trying to go for. Charles Hoskinson, this Cointelegraph, this is a great article about Africa as the future of DeFi, argues Cardano's Charles Hoskinson. And this is kind of what my point was, is he's trying to make money and DeFi and programming and smart contracts and everything available to the average person, whether it be me, whether it be somebody in Kenya, whether it be somebody in Denmark, whether it be somebody in New York City who's a PhD in programming, or Joe at Joe's Body Shop. Anybody can create a smart contract, and I think that's what he's trying to do, to democratize the entire concept of blockchain and the smart contract. He says, when we ask ourselves, who will be the consumers of DeFi, who will be in need of identity systems and payment systems and new ways of representing equities? Will it be the ossified, highly regulated markets of the Western world, which are invitation only? Or will it be the agile and nimble countries of Africa, Southeast Asia, who have no incumbencies and are desperately to compete, and thus are open and friendly to retooling and ideas? Given that the human capital, physical capital, and economics are all moving in the right direction, it is my belief that Africa will be the most promising economic environment in the next 10 years. I don't think it's just Africa. I mean, there's tons of people here in the United States that don't have the knowledge or the means to be able to learn this type of stuff. So it's just there. As we see 5.6 trillion in wealth, it is my hope that the representation of that wealth will live on the Cardano blockchain. So he doesn't really give specifics here. He added that he believes these connections will lead to flagship deals, which will in turn help to land much larger deals, which he notes that there's 5.6 trillion in wealth across the continent. This kind of rings true what I said at the beginning when he was with the Ethereum Foundation and with those 8 guys, and most of those guys were developers. They did not think in those terms of landing flagship deals, which in turn will help land much larger deals. That's a very businessman, salesman-like way of thinking. That's the way I think. Whenever I work for my real job, and I'm a sales manager, and I think about little deals leading to larger deals and networking around communities and building relationships. And Charles Hoskinson is very much like that. And so he's not just a mathematician or a developer, he is a salesman. And this is what he's trying to do. He's trying to create a large network effect going for the Cardano platform. So, yeah, there's so much more I could really dig into. I could dig into Haskell. I could dig into more of the Plutus stuff. I could dig into the future of Emergo and the whole. There's just you could keep going. The whole governance token future, input output. Let's see here. There is input output. I can't think right now. It's getting late. So input output. So go to iohk.io. There's a wealth of knowledge here as well, to be able to learn about the future of all this stuff and where it's going. This is basically the parent company of Cardano. I don't know what all this is here. Some programmed graphics, I guess you can play with. So anyway, education, research projects. You can go to the Marlowe Playground and play around yourself with the coding. And so yeah, just go explore around, learn about it yourself, and have fun. This crypto space is fun. This is what I love doing when I get home. Obviously I do physical stuff as well, but my job, I work in manufacturing. It's a paycheck, but in order to really challenge my thinking, I come home and I play with coding languages. I learn cryptocurrency projects and blockchain technology, and I'm learning about production and creating videos and talking to you guys and communicating these concepts in the most simple ways I can to try to help people understand, and it's a passion of mine. So I'm hope that I've been able to help you. Let's take one last quick look at where the market is and where Cardano stands in this market before I sign off. Right now, everything has been in the red all day because of this whole SEC and Ripple thing going on, whether or not Ripple's a security or a commodity. So everybody scared, but right now is actually, I think, a good time, not financial advice. But Cardano sits at number 9, so it's in the top 10 of all the cryptocurrencies right now in market cap. And it's right now it's a bargain at 13 cents. So if you're into it, scoop it up while you can. I would, but I have Christmas presents I got to pay for and kids I got to take care of right now. But I am a dollar cost averager. I put a little bit of money out of every paycheck, regardless of what the market looks like, into the projects that I have chosen. Cardano is one of those. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, Theta, Unibright, Ren, and a few others, and Aave. Those are the ones that I kind of divvy out portions of my paycheck to each week, regardless of how they're doing. Ocean Protocol is another one. So yeah, and now Zilliqa. I've added Zilliqa. So the next video that I'm going to do is on Zilliqa. I made a post about Zilliqa, and the community has just freaked out, and they have welcomed me in, and I definitely need to make a video about Zilliqa now. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. It will help the algorithm and help what I'm doing, the Eureka Street Crypto Hub, become better. And I hope to do better as I continue going on. I like doing live streams and broadcasting news, but I also like covering in detailed projects like this as well. So yeah, you guys have a good Christmas. I will be signing on probably tomorrow morning to broadcast live and just talk about the market. And yeah, give me some feedback, leave me a comment, shoot me a DM, hit me up on Twitter. And I also have an Instagram account, Eureka Street Crypto Hub. So yeah, you guys have a good evening, and I will go ahead and get this dramatic music that my child helped make. So all this weird music you see, we just basically make in Cakewalk. It creates royalty rights from not being an issue. So enjoy. Have a good evening.